Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sean. I'm the general manager of b8ta here in Seattle, coming at you live this Friday. Wherever you're at, I hope you are having a great day. Here for us outside, if you could only see, it is an amazing day, and hopefully I get to go get some time on a bike later today. Today I was going to do an unboxing featuring b8ta. We're going to save that for next week, though, because what I wanted to do first was kind of just do a little overview of what e-bike should I buy? That is a really common question that we get here in the store, and answer that time and time and time again. So I wanted to go over a few questions, thoughts that will help shift the way you look at e-bikes and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you if you are in the market for one. So the first question that I would probably say is, if you're in the market for an e-bike, right, really question and ask yourselves, what type of riding are you going to be doing, and what would you like to do? Do you want something that's going to be focused more for commuting, going from point A to point B? Are you looking for something a little bit more recreational, just cruising around the neighborhood, or taking it off-road if you're going out in the mountains or anywhere out of the city? That question right there is probably the biggest one to answer first, because there's plenty of e-bikes out on the market, and all of them are going to have completely different everything, essentially, right? They're going to offer different features that'll be conducive to all different types of riding styles. So I think the very first question to ask yourself is exactly that. What do you want out of your e-bike? From there, once you identify what type of riding you're going to be doing, the world of e-bikes can be a little complicated, so hopefully this helps break it down a little bit. You may have heard of the different classes that are available. There's class 1, class 2, and class 3. So what does that mean? That refers to how the e-bike performs and what speeds it'll go up to. So a class 1 e-bike will have just pedal assist, meaning you are going to be riding it as you normally would, and then the electric kicks in and gives you that extra boost. Class 1 e-bikes are limited to 20 miles an hour. A class 2 e-bike is going to offer exactly everything class 1 does, but it's also going to then introduce a throttle. So when you're using the throttle, that'll fully electrify the bike, so you don't have to pedal at all. And again, a class 2 is also regulated to 20 miles an hour. And then a class 3 e-bike is going to be only pedal assist, but the top speed is going to be 28 miles an hour. When you're looking through those different options and identifying what suits your riding style, the other thing that I would really encourage you is look up your local e-bike laws. Every city, every municipality is a little bit different with what it can be and can't be ridden on roads, trails, et cetera, et cetera. The next thing to think about when you're looking at e-bikes is, what type of motor does it have? There's typically two types of motors that you're going to find. You're going to find a direct drive, and you're also going to find a geared. Two totally different motor types that offer different benefits to each. In short, a direct drive or gearless motor is going to typically be a little bit on the larger side. Typically offers regenerative braking if that's of importance to you. And then a geared motor is going to be on the smaller side and be a little bit lighter weight. There's a few differences in performances which we can dive into later, but couple of those things to think about when you're looking at motor types. The next thing to think about would be gearing, right? There are e-bikes that are single speed, and then there's e-bikes that offer 7 speeds, for instance. The key takeaway is, what type of terrain are you going to be riding on? Single speeds are great if you are relatively flat. Geared bikes are great if you live somewhere like we do, where it's super hilly. And the advantages to the gearing is you're going to have the different cadences as you're riding along, so you're not stuck to pedaling at one speed necessarily. You can find the right groove as you're riding around. Another big thing to think about with e-bikes is weight. geared and direct drive motors, right? That's gonna factor into the overall weight of the bike, as well as the gearing system that's on there. Is it a single speed? Is it a 7-speed? E-bikes like b8ta here weigh about 35 to 37 pounds, and then there's other e-bikes on the market that go upwards of 65, 70 pounds. So if you are transporting your bike, if you're putting it on a car rack, if you're carrying it up a flight of stairs, weight is definitely a thing to think about. That at first, you may not. You may see the numbers and say, wow, that's heavy or that's light. But again, it goes back to what is your riding style and how are you going to be rolling around on it. That's where the weight then comes into play. The other thing to think about too is when you get a bike, sometimes bikes come outfitted with different accessories, other times you'll have to add on. So if you're looking for a commuter bike, when you're looking at bikes, does it come with a rear rack? Does it come with headlights? Or is that something additional that you would need to purchase in the long run? Once you think about all of that thing, price and maintenance are gonna be the next things that I would have you consider. Overall, in the long run of your bike, you want to treat it as a car, so you're going to be wanting to do maintenance on it. Typically, if you're riding pretty regularly, I would recommend at least 2 tune-ups a year. Over the long run, though, things you want to think about are how much are replacement batteries, and if you had to do a replacement on the motor, how much do those cost? Right, direct drive motors are typically going to be a little bit more expensive to replace than a geared motor would be. All of that said, I know I went pretty quickly on that, but those are kind of the key talking points that we often find ourselves in conversation with folks in the store that are looking to try out a bike. I'm gonna leave you with that. Think about that. If you guys have any questions at all, definitely post it in the comments. We'll be responding if you have any. Next week, if you tune in, we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive featuring b8ta and what makes b8ta a great e-bike that's lightweight and pretty affordable. Until then, you guys have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you in store. Bye.